join me. All right. Bastian Lehman is CEO of Postmates, which is a delivery company, and many of you may think of it as, a company that has people that are going around delivering stuff, which is accurate. But I think what you're going to learn by listening to Bastian is that there is a method that is more thoroughly conceived than you might guess for what is really going on when Postmates deploys a network of people who can basically deliver anything for you from anywhere in your community, which is what they can do, right? I mean, they'll basically go anywhere and get something for you, right? So why don't you start by summarizing why you think that's important?
Right. First of all, thanks for having me, and thanks for listening. We're trying to make this somewhat entertaining, right?
Well,
we have the agreement. We'll make it fun. We'll make it entertaining.
It better be funny and good. But he's also a major San Francisco startup. So even though we're very New York oriented, we like to at least have a little affirmative action.
New York is our second largest market.
Okay,
so
New York's the second market, but he is a big time startup in San Francisco, no doubt.
Look, you put it in the simplest way possible. Postmates gives you kind of a superpower. You can have any item that's available in your city delivered to you within a couple of minutes. That's the easiest way to describe it. And on the flip side of that is our premise, and that is that we're helping local retailers compete with big box retailers and companies like Amazon.
Right. So it's really a local economy tool, in a sense, a local economy support tool that is both pro-consumer and pro-small business.
Absolutely.
That's a nice combination, I have to say. And when we talked on the phone, I had a number of epiphanies, which I'm hoping we will bequeath to the audience here. But one of the things that I think is a good way to start, we were talking about magical experiences. I think that was your phrase. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think before Postmates came around, it was pretty unheard of that you can press a button and you have an item in your hand a couple of minutes later, right? But Postmates helps unlock local inventory. If you think about local inventory, one of the challenges that you have in retail is that a lot of inventory is locked. That means it's only available and visible to you when you walk in a store, you call that store. It's a huge challenge, right? Companies all over the world are working on trying to write software that understands local inventory, because if you can understand where is what in your city, you can then have an infrastructure like Postmates deliver these goods. And then as a retailer, you have a blueprint that you can follow. You have a tool that allows you to compete, especially because we're living in a world where consumer expectations rapidly change. On demand is not a gimmicky thing anymore that it was 6 years ago when you could get a pizza delivered from a place that usually does not deliver, right? It has arrived. Postmates has partnerships with Apple, with Walmart. We are looking at changing commerce. And local retailers have an absolute advantage here, and that is that they can distribute the goods that they have in store extremely fast. But today, most of them don't offer any of these services. But that will change.
So I don't even know the answer, even though we spent half an hour on the phone. Do you guys actually maintain inventory? Do you actually list the inventory of specific local retailers, or is that something you want to go towards?
Yeah, we do both. We do list it from the ones that are our partners, or where we can find information about these inventories.
And this is something you'd want to grow, clearly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we also are agnostic to the fact if we have the inventory or not. Imagine a world where you know that a store exists. Let's say it's a hardware store, and you need an item from that hardware store, and you know that item is available. You can literally select that store in the Postmates app. Without us having inventory, you write a shopping list, and we get that thing to you within 38 minutes. That's the average time it takes us to complete a delivery in New York.
That's pretty good. When we were talking about the magical experiences, I was talking about my own pedestrian enthusiasm for using the Starbucks app. I don't know how many of you like that. I find it so cool. You're just walking from, 43rd Street to 14th Street, and I can, order my latte on 34th and 5th, and it's just waiting there when I get there, and I carry it out. To me, that's kind of cool. But you're sort of trying to bring that sort of simplicity and seamlessness and magic to all commerce in a local community.
That's correct. Yeah. I think the phrase that I used on the phone, bless you, the phrase that I used is, we help local retailers have the same abilities that Starbucks has with mobile order and pay.
Yeah.
You can have it delivered, you can walk in, and the item is ready for you. I mean, we call that pickup. Obviously, that is not anything revolutionary. It's been around forever. But we'll have some neat software that helps retailers manage the lines in their store.
Well, and to take it to the next level, allow me to speak for you. You said that by the end of this year, you're going to have basically a system that allows you in pretty much any, I don't know how many stores, how it will work, but maybe you can talk about that, which allows you not to even have to pay in the same manner that Amazon has that store in Seattle that they're prototyping, right?
So this is a good moment, I think, to give a little bit of background why we're doing all this. And I tried to attempt that earlier, but I'm doing it again.
Do it again.
If we look at local commerce in the United States, it's a huge market, but it's very fragmented and it's underserved. We all spend around $1.4 trillion a year in our local economies. Most of our discretionary income is spent locally. But only around 3% of all the transactions that happen locally are actually captured online. And that means that's Seamless, that's Postmates, that's all the apps that you use to do transactions locally. Now, we believe this market, it's growing 30-40% year over year, will have a dramatic impact on how we interact with the stores and services in our cities. At Postmates, we believe that we can create software that will funnel a lot of these transactions that will come online eventually through the Postmates app in one way or another. Now, we started in delivery. Now you can have access to all the goods in New York with a tap of a button. We launched a pickup product, and we will launch a payment product that allows you to interact with the same retailers, the same restaurants that you use Postmates to get a pizza delivered. You walk in that same restaurant, they know who you are. They probably know better who you are than if you were a regular customer. They see your dietary restrictions, they see your allergies. You can order your food and you walk away from that place. There's a beacon in the tablet that connects your iPhone or your Android, your smartphone to the merchant, and you can have the same great experience without that, can I please have the check, etc. So all of this, to wrap that up, is because consumer expectations are changing dramatically in the world that we live in. We expect from every vendor we interact with an omni-channel experience, anywhere, anytime, delivery or pickup, a look into the inventory, and that is an exciting world.
And you also offer a subscription a la Amazon Prime. Just quickly talk about that.
Oh, it's cooler than Amazon Prime.
Of course it is.
Because we call it unlimited, so first of all, it has a better name. And second of all, it allows you to have unlimited free deliveries from a basket size over $20 from over 25,000 in-network merchants. Food, retail, you name it, in the Postmates app.
And that's $60 a year?
$79.
$79.
Pretty sure we can get it to $60
I think you just
eventually.
raised it. But anyway.
No, we didn't. We dropped the price on it.
Oh,
it used to be $100.
Oh, it used to be $100.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could have sworn you told me a different price on the phone. But anyway, let's go straight to the Amazon thing, though. Because if there's one thing that local merchants worry about, starting with bookstores, but increasingly all, it's the Amazon threat, right?
Right.
And you kind of represent for them an alternative, a way to fight back. Is that a fair summary?
I would phrase it slightly differently, and I would say I don't think that local retailers are afraid of Amazon. That may be the thing that they channel their energy towards, but I think we all are, to a certain degree, afraid of change. And sometimes it's difficult to see the pace of change that is happening. And it can be very numbing if you don't have tools, if you don't know what to do in a changing world. So we can translate that simply to Amazon, but I think there's more facet to that than just that one company, right? That one company does one thing very well, and that is it understands the future, it works towards the future, and it wants to make sure that you purchase most things through them.
And it manages inventory really well.
And it manages inventory really well. It does a really good job. Now, that's a little bit, and I'm not saying this is happening, but it's a little bit like the internet and like the AOL CompuServe world, right? You have this one place where you go to, and it's all you can eat, and you get your news through it, and you get most of your things through it.
Analogy.
And it's very centralized.
Most
and
people here
it's
are
powerful.
too young to know what that means. But
Right.
CompuServe used to be the way we got all of our email and such.
Yeah. So it was this very confined place. And you know what? If it's centralized, it works very well. And I'm sure that history won't repeat itself step by step. But There is an analogy that there are now companies like Postmates who are trying to give tools to all the retailers so that they can act in a similar way. Because if you can give your customers access to goods extremely fast, if you understand who they are, if you offer great technology in store and via delivery, if your inventory is known and can be distributed, then there is the idea that there could be a decentralized approach to commerce rather than one that is controlled by one or two companies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think when we were on the phone, I threw out the idea, it's sort of like SEO for the online-offline world, which I think that's a phrase you use, the online-offline world.
Right.
But it's a very powerful idea, and I confess that I haven't used it. Certainly, I use Prime a disturbingly large amount of the time. But certainly, and there are retailers like the dry cleaner, they're not worried about Amazon particularly, but they do need